Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Aqua Habitat, and in today's video I'll be discussing about what to dose for your plants in your planted aquarium and how much to dose and what I'm actually dosing. So let's get started. Providing proper nutrition to your plants is very important, because nutrition is after all food for your plants. Now what to feed your plants is a big question. Like us, plants also require macro and micronutrients. In macro, there are three primary nutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus and potash. In micro there are several, I think 13 or 14 trace elements are there that you need to provide, plus carbon. And out of the micronutrients, in my opinion, iron is one of the most important. Nitrogen, phosphorus and potash are known as macronutrients because they are required in larger amount compared to the micronutrients. Now there are basically two ways we provide nutrients to the aquatic plants in our aquarium. Number one, which is very important, is through the substrate, and the second way is by dosing directly into the water column. We do so because the plants are unique in the sense that they can absorb nutrients through two different ways. Number one, the primary source of nutrient absorption for any plants, whether terrestrial or aquatic, are its roots. About 75% of the nutrients of most of the plants get absorbed through their roots. So providing a good substrate is very important. And the second way that the plants absorb nutrients is through the stomatal openings present in the lower side of the leaves. So they will absorb nutrients from the roots as well as the stomatal openings present in the leaves. So it is very important to provide a good substrate, a nutrient-rich substrate, plus regular nutrient dosing in your water column. Now let's talk about substrate. Substrate is very important because, as I've already told, most of the plants will absorb majority of nutrients through the substrates with the help of their roots. Now, there are many companies which make substrates specifically for planted tanks. So you can directly purchase it and you add it to your tank, and it will save you a lot of time and it's hassle free. There are several brands which are available in the market, like Amazonia, Aqua Soil by Aqua Design Amano, ADA. Like they have got Amazonia, they've got Africanus. So here I am using the ADA Amazonia. There is one more called the Carib Sea Eco Complete, then Seachem Fluoride, and Mr. Aqua Soil Substrate is there, plus there is one more product manufactured by Fluval. The price range varies. I think ADA is the most costliest one out of them, but it's the best in my opinion, and it lasts longer. If you don't want to purchase a pre-mixed solution or a substrate, then you can make your own substrate, which is known as dirted tanks. Now what you can do is you can directly purchase potting soils from your regular nursery, which are actually meant for your terrestrial plants, and you can add it to your tank. The only thing is you'll have to be careful while selecting the potting mixture, because if it contains chemicals that might harm your fish, so it's better to go for organic potting mixtures if you can. There's an extreme version of dirted tanks, which is actually the true dirted tanks, is when the entire soil is made by you. What I mean by that is you are not purchasing anything from outside, right? You are not purchasing a substrate specifically designed for a planted tank. Neither you are purchasing a potting soil from your nursery. What you are doing is making your own soil. There are several recipes available on the internet, but basically what you do there is you will make a concoction, a mixture of various soils. Like you will collect vermicompost, you will collect laterite soil, you will add your own garden soil, then you will sieve it, then you will roast it, sun dry it, then you will try using it in your aquarium. Whatever you do, whether you are purchasing a premixed substrate or you are making your own, the thing to remember is that it should have a good amount of nutrients in it, both macro and micro. Plus it should be slow releasing. And normally what happens, that's not an issue with substrates that you'll purchase, the branded substrates that you'll purchase, but if you make your own soil, then the problem there is getting the ratios right. The biggest problem that I have seen people face in dirted tank is that it is not slow releasing. Initially when they make the soil, it is good, nutrient rich. They'll put it in the aquarium and they're going to add water. What happens? The nutrients immediately starts leaching into the water. 70 to 75% of the nutrients which was present in the soil will leach into the water. That means finally there will be less nutrients available for your plants, and more excessive nutrients in a water column means algae. And algae is a big enemy of aquarists. We all know that. So getting the right balance in a dirted tank is a bit tricky. Whereas if you directly add a branded substrate, then most of the problems will be taken care of. Here I've used ADA aqua soil, so I have not faced that problem. Now let's talk about dosing nutrients in the water column. Regular dosing of nutrients in the water column is also very important, because as I have already mentioned, your plants has the ability to absorb nutrients through their leaves, through their stomatal openings, minute stomatal openings present in the underside of the leaves. So nutrients present in the water will help your plants absorb it through their leaves, as well as the nutrient present in the soil will be absorbed by the roots, and which will help the plant grow much faster and vigorously. Another plus point of adding nutrients to water column is your substrate will one day get exhausted of nutrients. The plants are going to absorb the nutrients present in it, plus some of it will leach into the water, and sooner or later a day will come when your soil will be left with no nutrients. Now, to counter this effect to some extent, you will dose nutrients in the water. So what happens, the substrate, provided it's not an inert substrate, your substrate is going to absorb the nutrients, because they're oppositely charged, and will hold on to the nutrients. So what is happening is, though it is the nutrient which was present when you first put it in your aquarium, it is losing that, but when you are dosing it, your soil will be able to hold on to those nutrients and will slowly be absorbed by the roots of the plants. So what you are basically doing by dosing, you are also elongating the life of the substrate in your aquarium. So it is very important to dose nutrients in the water column. Now, what to dose? Again, you'll have to dose macros as well as micros. So in macros, you will dose nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, trace elements, and if you are not adding pressurized CO2, you will also be putting liquid carbon. Now what I dose, or what I will suggest you do, when you first set up your tank, or let it put it this way, what I had done is, when I first set up this tank, I was dosing with ADA range of liquid fertilizers. Like they've got Green Bright Step 1, Green Bright Step 2. Now this is very good. In my opinion, this is again just like the substrate, same brand. Its liquid fertilizers are the best available in the market. So if though this is costly, yeah, it is costly. So I'll not suggest you dosing this thing throughout. At least you can do it for an initial 1 or 2 months to give your plants a boost. Once your plants have started growing, then you can shift to a different brand, maybe a less expensive but good brand, which is Seacamp's Flourish products. And I'm dosing Seacamp Flourish range since last 3 to 2.5 years. So they have all the nutrients separately, which will help you. Like what I am dosing is, in macros I am dosing potash, nitrogen and phosphorus. I am dosing trace elements, Flourish, plus I am also adding iron, because iron, I think, though it's a micronutrient, but in my opinion this is the most important micronutrient, especially if your aquarium has got plants with red colored shades. It's very important to bring out the red color. So what I am dosing is, right now, is the Seacamp range of liquid fertilizers, which are known as Flourish. I am dosing nitrogen, potash and phosphorus in macros. In trace you get a separate bottle which contains most of the important trace elements required by your plants. Like this one has boron, cobalt, copper, manganese, zinc, nickel, plus I dose iron also, though it's a micronutrient, but it's one of the most important micronutrient. So nutrients through substrate and nutrients through water dosing will really help your plants grow and thrive. And what you should dose is macros, nitrogen, phosphorus and potash, trace elements. If possible, dose iron separately, and if you are not using a pressurized CO2, you might also have to dose liquid carbon. Now, just like the substrates, there is a DIY method also of dosing nutrients in the water column. One of the most popular form of DIY dosing is known as the estimated index method, or the EI dosing method by a person called Tom Barr. And what it does is you'll purchase the raw elements directly from your chemist shop, and there are various recipes, dosage. You'll add it to your aquarium, which is also known as, I think, the dry method of dosing. So you will purchase, let's say, potassium nitrate for potassium and nitrogen. You will purchase potassium phosphate for again potassium and phosphorus as macros, and there are various dosage which he suggests. You will have to mix it with water, dilute it in water, put it in separate bottles, and you keep on regularly dosing it. But if you don't want those hassles, then you should go for liquid fertilizers specifically designed for your planted tanks. Now, proper nutrients, show your substrates, and proper nutrient and regular dosing in your water column will help your aquatic plants grow and thrive. I hope this video will be helpful to you. Thanks for watching, guys.